It could be your brother, too. Or your sister. Or your children. I want justice for all of them. And I want justice for all the other people whose lives are bought and sold.
Since the start of the 21st century, Black feminism has been on the rise.
Feminist, a person who believes in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes.
From the founding of the Black Lives Matter movement to having our very first Black First Lady. Black women have made their presence in the media. While all these milestones are very empowering, especially for a Black woman like myself, one question still remains. How come when we think of a successful Black woman, we think of this?
So help me God. Congratulations.
Rather than this. Is there a difference between the two? I decided to invite a few students at the University of Texas at Austin to describe their experience with respectability politics and how they feel Black women's presence in the media in the 21st century is shaped today.
Do you feel that your presence as a Black woman here at a university like UT, do you think that your being Black has anything to do with that, or do you feel like being Black has shaped your experiences here at UT?
I definitely feel like being Black has shaped my experiences at UT. Definitely just by maybe like feeling welcome at the university.
When I told them I was going to UT, it was kind of, really? You're going to play sports? And it was like, no.
Like, I do deserve to be here and all that, but it's just like when you go around and you look around campus and you don't see as many as people who look like you on there, it's just hard to feel like, man, this is a area of comfort.
What does Black feminism look like in the 21st century?
I don't think there's like one woman artist who like just truly captures all of the components of feminism in the 21st century, but you do have like people who take on the different roles, if that makes sense. Like you have the person who's like more down to earth and who's sensitive and all those things. Then you also have the go-getter, the hustler, the grinder, who's gonna do what they gotta do by any means. So
Black feminism is the ability to be completely and totally able to act as a Black woman without feeling like you have to adapt to the society standard of what a Black woman should be.
To me, it's not just one word. Black woman is an all-encompassing thing. It's just like you have to be smart, you have to be hardworking, you have to be dedicated, you have to be loving and compassionate. And I just feel like it's just a whole array of things. Like we can never be just put in one box. Like a Black woman is not defined by one thing. We can be defined by everything.
Black feminism is the ability to empower yourself and to believe in yourself and not to, fall into the negative stereotypes of what society says a Black woman should be.
In your own personal opinion, Olivia Pope or Cookie Lyons?
There's a little bit of Olivia Pope in all of this, and there's a little bit of Cookie Lyons in all of this.
So unapologetic about who she is and what she want to do with her life, and she just doesn't apologize for who she is.
The streets ain't made for everybody. That's why they made sidewalks.
I love both of their work ethic in a totally different sense. I love Olivia's being there for other people, making it work for where she lives, and doing what she has to do to survive. And I love Cookie Lyons for doing the same thing. She's more of a family-oriented person. It just kind of just depends on the day completely.
The name's Cookie, ask about me.
So, do you feel that difference needs to exist between the workplace and how a Black woman should behave outside of the workplace?
I believe that there shouldn't be a difference, but the reality of life is there is a difference.
I feel like I have to like code switch sometimes, which is basically like speaking proper or like taking away like my country and slang and things like that. And I joke all the time that when I'm like, I can start out that way, like really proper, you know, speak well and all these things, but then somewhere down the line when I start getting comfortable, the way I naturally talk comes out. So that's one thing I have to like deal with, or whatever the case is.
They tend to merge those two things, and so then it's like you either have to be the black woman with the attitude, or you just have to be a black woman that's very passive and takes anything as it is. And I don't think that is fair to us as black women, because we have a lot to say and we shouldn't have to be passive. We shouldn't have to let things slide by when our voice needs to be heard.
So if I'm in a group, I have a group assignment. I was in a business school, so I'm working with all these people who are of different races. They're going to look at me like I don't know what I'm talking about, or like I'm not smart enough to have solutions to certain things. But as a black woman, I feel like I have to work that much harder to show like, hey, I do know what I'm talking about, and a lot of times more than what y'all think y'all know, whatever the case is. So I feel like I have to work much harder, and that's not even just being black, but a black woman, because if it's a black man, they still have their voice of dominance and things like that in a lot of situations. So that's one aspect. Oh, in the work environment, as far as clothes, with my internship, I have to struggle with where white women can wear certain things, but I wear the same things because I'm a little, hippier or have a slightly different shape. Is going to be deemed as like sexual, like over sexualized or things like that. And then going back to hair, like if I wear my afro or like, it's like, that's a little much, tone it down, especially if I'm going on visits to like with clients or things like that. You want to have presentable hair, things like that. It's just a lot of things you have to deal with.
Now the message is clear. In the 21st century, black women clearly have to work so much harder just to get the same respect as their counterparts. And I hope that through this video, you've learned something about respectability politics, and how hopefully through time, we can all work together to change that for women of color and all women alike. Thank you.